Mike's Daily Podcast.
So come on, darling, won't you let me drive you home? I'll drive you home. Da, da, da. That's a song by like Band of Horses or something. Hi, I'm Mike Matthews, broadcasting from Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont, on the 1534th episode.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Hi, let's get to a show where we'll have Madame Rootabega, Valentino, and Bison Bentley, and other interesting things.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
You know, I felt really bad about the people in Montecito because that's somewhere I used to drive past. You know, back when I was going to school at UCSB, I'd drive from Oxnard, California, up to Goleta.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I have been failing every song so far this week.
You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Mike's
Every song I've
Daily
done has been a fail.
Podcast.
Oh well.
It's not my fault.
Yeah.
But yeah, Montecito I used to drive past all the time, so I felt really bad to hear so many people killed in mudslides. In fact, Glenn Phillips, the lead singer of Toad the Wet Sprocket, who I follow on Facebook because Toad the Wet Sprocket came from Santa Barbara. He lives in Montecito or near there, and he said his neighborhood got all messed up. Lots of property damage, but everyone was okay. Look who just walked in. Hello, Michael Mash, it's Madame Rootabega. It's Friday. Oh, yes, Friday. Ooh, so happy here at Cafe Anyway. Anyway. That it's Friday. What a week. What a year so far. 2018, you and I are not friends. I just want you to know you are on notice, 2018, and I'll tell you why in a moment, but look who else walked in. Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant. I couldn't find the microphone there. And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that? Yeah, I do know that. Okay, good. Do you know that? Yes, I know that.
Mama says stupid is as stupid does.
But that's neither here nor there or anywhere up there or wherever. I have to say that we have a podcast picture.
And here's today's podcast picture.
It is of the Palace of Fine Arts in San Francisco. I have visited it many, many times. I watched I Married an Axe Murderer many times when I was married. When I didn't live in the Bay Area, we would watch it because it was filmed in San Francisco, and my then wife and I would, we'd need a little trip to San Francisco, so we'd watch that movie. And there's a funny scene in there where he's with is it Nancy Griffith? Mike Myers is, and they're like, oh, well, that he's like, Katya, dance with me. But this is probably, we used to watch this scene over and over and over again because Mike Myers is so funny. He plays, I think he's supposed to be playing his father, or his late father in real life was Scottish, and he used to,
There's rubbish again. Well, happily one of these for you.
Favorite.
Oh, here we go.
Lyndon hates There's rubbish again.
Hear it. Listen to this.
Well, it's a well-known fact, Sonny Jim, that there's a secret society of the 5 wealthiest people in the world, known as the Pentaverate, who run everything in the world, including the newspapers, and meet tri-annually at a secret country mansion in Colorado known as the Meadows. So
Yeah, make any sense of that as you can, but that is basically the root of every conspiracy theory you ever heard, is that Scottish rambling by the great Mike Myers doing the Scottish accent, which would later morph into Shrek. But he also says in that, I don't have time to cue it up, "Head down!" Is the kid, his son has got a big curly red-haired curly fro going on, which, by the way, You can listen. By the way, you can listen to this show on a great website called friendswithfroze. What are we at? friendswithfroze.blogspot.com. Friends with Froze. At a couple of Friends with Froze sections. friendswithfroze.wordpress.com. Basically all these free websites. I think friendswithfroze.tumblr.com. That's where you can also find this show. Did you know? Because we're Friends with Froze? That's right. So that's a fun little... Actually, I have a Friends with Froze jacket, thanks to Ariel, who voices the part where it goes... here's today's podcast picture, and Mike's Daily Podcast, MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Which actually, if you go to MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com... But, ma'am... that's where you can find all the past podcasts and past shows, past podcast pictures, and you can help out the show through the PayPal at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. But the podcast picture today, the Palace of Fine Arts in San Francisco, and partly why I put that up there at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com, and it'll be on Facebook and everywhere as well, is because my mom has a great friend named Mike. Was her boyfriend of 5 years. And how do you tell your mom the great Shakespeare saying of it's better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all? And when the loss is forever, it's permanent, and that is that she lost her boyfriend. Mike passed away yesterday at the age of 85. He met my mom at the age of 80, and they had 5 wonderful, glorious years. I owe Mike my mom's life. Basically, he saved my mom because, well, she had a really bad thing happen to her, and he was able to find her in time at her home, was able to get her to the hospital in time. And here I am on the opposite side of the country. She's in Florida, and he saved her life. And I told him there was just no way I could ever thank him enough, you know? I mean, I told him, you are my mom's angel. And just the nicest guy. He worked for ABC television for many, many years, covered Olympic Games. ABC used to cover the Olympic Games, and I remember vividly was it Lake Placid when they covered it? He was there. He was there supplying all the camera gear, all the equipment, which back then was, my friend, way heavier. Cameras nowadays are as light as paper. Then so heavy, big, metal, crazy, and the equipment, big. You had to lug stuff around, and he was in charge of all that equipment. He was in charge of checking it all out. He created patents. He was an inventor. He invented so many products that were used by ABC, which he never saw a dime of because ABC then owned the patent because he worked for them and they got to, that kind of thing. They got the domain of it. But he created so many things, and he was so in love with my mom. And I could see it. When I visited Florida last time, back in September, he wasn't doing so well in September, but I got to see him. I thankfully got to see him a couple times and have dinner with him. And every time my mom and I would see him, I might as well have not been in the room because he just looked at my mom the whole time, just gazed upon her. And anything she said, he was just laughing and, just a fantastic man. And it's so sad he's gone. I don't think he suffered too much. It's just, 85, and he had a long and great life, and it was just a go. So, he went pretty peacefully. I don't have too many details about that at this time, but from what my mom said, that seems to be the case. I'm just so heartbroken today. I heard the news yesterday. As I was leaving the dog park, I was walking down the hill from the dog park from Fairmont Ridge, where I often go, with my dog, Basil the boxer. Can we get a happy bark from Basil? And as I was walking down the hill, my mom calls and told me the sad news, and just heartbreaking. Mike actually told me once that he had gone to San Francisco with the ABC covering, I think, one of the conventions or something, one of the political conventions, and because he was with ABC News. And in honor of Mike, why don't we do this? I don't know if he would get mad if I had done this. There you go, ABC. But yeah, so he told me he had gone to San Francisco and he remembered stuff like the Golden Gate Bridge. But in honor of when I think of San Francisco, I think of the Palace of Fine Arts. So there you go. There, in honor of him. The Palace of Fine Arts, a picture I took about 5 years ago. And I haven't been back since. I need to go back to San Francisco. It's so close. It's such a pain to get to, even though I live so close. But I need to get there and visit the Palace of Fine Arts soon. And just wanted to say that, Mike, I'm going to miss you. And I know you never listened to my podcast, because every time I tried to explain podcasting to you, you would get this glazed look over your face like, what? What is this? There's a certain age demographic that just will never, ever understand podcasting. So, oh well, but I'm saluting you in my show today for sure, because you deserve it. You're a great, great man, and you will... to say you will be sorely missed is a vast understatement. So, just wanted to say that. Yesterday, just shortly before I got the horrible news, I met a really cute girl. She's got these two cute pit bulls named Frida, and the other's named Kahlo. And I go, if I meet Diego Rivera, I'll let you. If I meet the two dogs named Diego and Rivera, I'll let you know. And she said, ah ha ha. And that's a witty reference to something. Frida Kahlo and Diego Rivera were married. It was not the best marriage, but it was historic. One of the historic marriages of two artists of all time. Actually, Diego Rivera painted several murals in San Francisco, and Frida Kahlo was in San Francisco for a while, and there is footage of that. Actually, there's this great documentary. I forget where I saw it, but there's all this footage of Frida Kahlo in San Francisco. It's fascinating. But yes, so that's what I met yesterday. A very cute girl. I hope to see her again at the dog park. I've seen her a couple times now. Maybe one of these days I'll make a move. And should I make the move, Trump?
We had to make the move, and we decided to make the move.
Maybe not that kind of a move. Trump makes moves that are scary. And Trump says things that are scary, like things about holes and whatnot. So, yeah, that happened. But before I get to all that, I just want to say that Kevin, who does the segment on the show called
Addenda with Kevin.
While I'm filling in for Lulu Garcia Navarro...
Hey there, Mike. How are you?
Texted me several things yesterday. One about This American Life, and he said, oh my God, I just listened to This American Life for the first time. What a bunch of condescending bleep holes. See, holes definitely pertain to the show today. Now I know why they did that skit on Portlandia, which I don't know what skit he's talking about. And I've watched a lot of Portlandia, so I need to get caught up on that. And he was also shocked to hear that I want to move back to Alabama. And I do want to move back to Alabama at some point. I said that I'd like to get back there before my mom's gone, but I am going to that's probably not going to happen. I'm going to definitely go visit my mom soon, though, because this is some tough times she's going through right now, losing such a close friend. But yeah. And then Kevin did want to point out about how Morrissey sounds like a bad Kermit the Frog impression. And he does. He's got one of those voices, Morrissey. But he's also a interesting songwriter that I have loved listening to him. What's he say? Oh, that's his newest song. There you go. I gave Morrissey a plug. Oh.
Can I call you Stephen?
No.
What? I thought we'd become friends here, and then...
Yeah, but Stephen doesn't mean friends to me.
Does it not? Does it not?
No. Stephen.
But that was your name when you were a little boy?
When I was small, yeah. But I wasn't a very happy little boy.
He wasn't a happy little boy. Oh, that's too bad. Oh, one of the greatest things you can watch...
Same producer that they sang to.
This is a young George Michael. And Morrissey were on the same show.
I absolutely love Aretha.
And this is Morrissey.
Very, very complimentary, I think, to the artists, which I think is quite rare. But ultimately, I don't really care.
He doesn't really care, ultimately. Okay, and you probably don't either. So let me just zip through some news real quick. Cindy Crawford is going to recreate her iconic Super Bowl ad 26 years later, which she can pull off because she's frickin' Cindy Crawford. The model has recreated the 1992 Super Bowl ad, and it now features her 18-year-old son. She is 52 now. Presley Walker Gerber is the name of her son. Was he a Gerber baby? As well as footage from Michael Jackson's memorable Pepsi commercial. The 51-year-old said she didn't hesitate to recreate the ad, especially since she was able to work with her son. I was just a proud mom watching from the sidelines, trying not to annoy him. The original features Crawford in a tank top and jean shorts made from her own jeans she brought to set that day, driving a Lamborghini and stopping at a gas station to buy a soda. Then Lebanon is all mad, or Israel's mad. Somebody's mad. Israeli actress Gal Gadot, the Wonder Woman, very hot Wonder Woman actress. I don't know if I can watch Wonder Woman, the movie, because she's so hot. It might just fry my eyes, but she's beautiful. And apparently she wore a dress by Lebanese fashion designer Elie Saab that has caused consternation on social media. Israel and Lebanon have technically been at war since 1948, and Lebanon boycotts its southern neighbor. I love and respect Elie Saab, but is she really happy? Is he really happy an Israeli actress wore a dress he designed? Said a Lebanon journalist. The picture of Gadot in a blue sash dress by Saab has since been removed. It was accompanied by a description of the Wonder Woman star and former Israel Defense Forces combat trainer as flawless. Saab's Instagram post saw some people share their frustration that a former member of the Israeli army would be promoted by the designer. Did you see the last podcast picture I did where Basil the Boxer had a couple things to say about social media? He's mad. He hates social media, my friend. Don't get him worked up. He'll call you out. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee John Bon Jovi and the band. Oh, they're Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees. That's what's the world come to. They have announced their spring dates for the This House Is Not For Sale tour. The trek kicks off on March 14th in Denver, wraps up 2 months later. Are you going to go see them and pay $5,000 a ticket? I would not. I am totally against seeing old rock stars rock, even though John looks way better than me at his age. He is. I'm not. No. What's the point? But if you want to see them, let's see. Are they going to be anywhere in California? Looks like it's all frickin' East Coast. Anyway. Oh, Las Vegas is Saturday, March 17th. Looks like that's as close as they get with a first blush. Look at that. Whoa, Living on a Prayer. I am so sick of every Bon Jovi song. I'm trying to think of any John Bon Jovi song that I like. I don't even like the one solo song he did for the Young Guns movie. What's it? I'm not even going to sing it because I can't think of it. It sounded basically like, oh, that's Wanted Dead or Alive. Great song. Yeah. Okay, I'll go with that one. A woman is recovering from injuries after she was bitten by a sea lion while swimming in San Francisco's aquatic park. This was yesterday, the fourth attack by a sea lion in the same area in less than a month. Let's kill them all. No, I love sea lions. And you know what? Maybe that's a we should be listening to sea lions because they have something to tell us, and that is get the hell out of their ocean. It's their ocean, and we're just visiting. So watch ourselves, check ourselves before we wreck ourselves, basically, is what we should be saying. A Zach Galifianakis reference? Is that? And YouTube is not going to let me get to it? Ah, you stupid YouTube. I watched a little bit more of the last performance Michael Hutchence ever did with INXS when they were doing a special rehearsal the night before he died. And to say the night before, it was actually the morning of, because he was rocking.
You better check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Thank you, Zach. Because they were rocking way into the wee hours. So that footage is on YouTube. You can watch. Finally, the last Walmart. Oh, wait, we got some audio for this. Let's listen.
63 Sam's Club stores across the U.S.
Yeah, Walmart closed 63 Sam's Club stores.
In some cases, employees were not informed of the closures prior to showing up to work on Thursday. According to reports, they learned their store would be closing when they found the store's doors locked and a notice announcing the closure.
Wow.
10 of the affected stores will be turned into e-commerce distribution.
Wow.
Israel said employees of those stores will have the opportunity to reapply for positions at those locations.
Wow! Yes. Did you hear that? Because I played a sound effect over it and made it you couldn't even hear. A Walmart official says the company is closing 63 Sam's Club stores across the country. About 10 of those stores are going to be repurposed into e-commerce distribution sites. Yes, thank you, Amazon. Has changed the world. I don't know if you knew this, but last year the world changed because Amazon stuck their foot in Whole Foods, and that smelly foot made Whole Foods all their food tastes better for some bizarre reason. No, but they have taken over, and it's all about e-commerce. Costco's doing e-commerce big time. Walmart, which owns Sam's Clubs, is doing e-commerce, and so that's probably why they changed it. Now, they also at the same time announced that they would boost their starting salary for U.S. workers to $11 an hour and hand out one-time cash bonuses. That all happened on the same day. And then Trump made a remark about holes and about how, we don't want to take people. He referred to Haiti and African nations as blank hole countries. He sparked bipartisan backlash yesterday. This was a heated Oval Office meeting with lawmakers to discuss immigration. He reportedly grew frustrated with restoring protections for immigrants from El Salvador, Haiti, and African nations as part of an immigration deal, and suggested the U.S. instead bring in more immigrants from countries such as Norway, the prime minister of which he met on Wednesday. And which, by the way, hey, most of that country's white. And they talk like this. They have an interesting accent. Yeah, now I'm confused if this is actually the meeting that he did that was supposed to be all austere and, oh, look, he's pulling back and able to show everybody what's going on. That was that live conference he had with all the politicians. I'm not sure if this is the same thing. But from what it sounded like, this was more of a secret meeting. There's so many meetings, I'm slightly confused. But how about we just play the Seinfelds? Oh, no, that's not Seinfeld. That's Taxman. I wanted Seinfeld, I got Taxman. That's bizarre. Okay, well, let's go outside as we wrap up Cafe anyways. Mike's Daily Podcast Show. Podcaster Vallimont. The last place on earth where we are. Thank you for listening to the show. So why are we having all these people from blank hole countries coming here, he said, according to the Washington Post, which first reported his comments. Okay, this must not have been the televised thing, because we're getting reports from reports. It's not like we just all saw it live on TV, so we don't need to refer to someone for the report. Democrats slammed the comments as racist. Now, there's also an interesting backstory I heard on the New York Times podcast, that what happened was there was a Democrat and a Republican that were supposed to meet with Trump one-on-one about their idea for a immigration deal, and that all stemmed from the meeting that was televised, that Trump was saying, look, I'll take the heat. We just got to get this done and take care of DACA and all that. And so this Democrat and Republican, I think Senator, I don't know if it says this in this article here, wanted to meet with Trump. But instead, when they got there was a bunch of Republicans there meeting. And they're like, okay. So they gave their pitch. And it was during that pitch that Trump said that a Republican representative, Mia Love from Utah, which Utah hates Trump, by the way. I don't know if you knew that or not. And Mia is the nation's first Haitian American representative, said the president's remarks were, quote, unkind, divisive, elitist, and fly in the face of our nation's value. The behavior is unacceptable from the leader of our nation. My parents came from one of those countries, but proudly took an oath of allegiance to the United States and took on the responsibilities of everything that being a citizen comes with. And Orrin Hatch from Utah called for a detailed explanation of Trump's comments. Orrin Hatch, by the way, is going to be leaving at the end of his term, leaving the Senate, and he's from Utah, which hates Trump. And and Orrin Hatch just gave Trump, when they passed the tax bill, was like, this is the best president ever. Basically totally gave him big ol' accolades. Big, humongous accolades. Accolades. But we're calling the show whole. Senator James Lankford of Oklahoma, a Republican, called these comments disappointing. I would not talk about nations like this because I believe the people of those countries are made in the image of God and have worth and human dignity. That from a Republican. So there you go. I think that's very telling. Trump's got to check himself before he wrecks himself. The White House issued a statement yesterday in response to the Washington Post story and did not deny Trump's use of that term to describe Haiti and African nations. Okay, the president has been quoted in the past making disparaging comments about Haitian and Nigerian immigrants. Comments that were swiftly denied and called outrageous by the White House. But now you've been called on it, White House. And I think, by the way, as we wrap up the show, Amazon, the cities that we were just mentioning, Amazon and the Walmart shutting down Sam's Club and whatnot. Amazon, the cities that are trying to get Amazon or trying to woo Amazon to build their plants there, they are not. Those cities are not disclosing tax breaks that they're going to give to Amazon. What exactly are they doing to sweeten the deal? They're not saying. The AP asked them, and the city said, "No, we can't. We're not going to tell you." Dang! What? Internet. That's the weirdest noise I ever made. I sure wish I knew what I meant by this word I tried to... It looks like I wrote friends. Fiends? What is that word? Can you tell me? Look at that word. What does that say? I have no idea. Next show, we're going to have the wonderful Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the engineer. And we won't have a show on Sunday because I'm going to be way too busy. Because I'm taking tomorrow off from my part-time job, so that means all the work I got to do at my part-time job I'm going to do on Sunday. If, for some reason, I do a super secret Sunday show, we'll check in at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST-1534-Hole to find out if I do that on Sunday. But, God willing, a Monday show is definitely something I'm going to be hoping to do. That's the goal, is a Monday show. So, more than likely see you on Monday. We'll see. But anyway, at any rate, Cafe Anyway, have a wonderful and delightful weekend.
Anyway.
That's right. Anyway.
Anyway.
Cafe Anyway. And love enjoy. Don't take anyone for granted is what I'm saying. Love them, love your friends, love your neighbors, love your family, and remember, in a blink of an eye they can be gone, because that's the lesson. Well, we always learn that when we lose someone, but that's definitely something I'm thinking about now. So appreciate the ones that you cherish. That's what I meant to say. Okay, have a great weekend.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Email Mike now at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!